record on this computer. Okay.
Hello, we are the staff of Women's Student Services, and this is the countdown to Closeout Total Tuesday Craft Day. This is our watercolor craft project. We are the staff of Women's Student Services, and we're going to introduce ourselves and then we'll get started. My name is Gabby Walla. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am a graduate assistant with Women's Student Services, and I am a second-year master's student in the Student Affairs Administration program. Lexi?
Hi, everybody. My name is Lexi Hampton. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a junior this year, and I am an intern for Women's Student Services.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shiksha Sneha. I'm a senior, and I'm also a Women's Student Services intern.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heather Shea. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the Director of Women's Student Services, and I'm thrilled that you all are here to join us today on our guided craft activity. Shout out to Student Life for coordinating the activities as we count down to finals at the end of Zoom semester 2020, we'll call it that. So we'll continue with that trend and do some activities today. So what are we doing, Gabby?
All right, so today we are going to watercolor a winter scene. You're going to need several different items. You're going to need a watercolor palette, a small cup of water, some paper. If you don't have good painting paper, the back of your planner will do, a paintbrush, and then we're also gonna need salt today. So Heather, if you want to spotlight your video, then we can get started.
Okay, and then one other thing that you might want to also grab is a pencil. And this is more for those of you who want to be extra precise about where you're putting things. So if you would like a pencil to start with, that works great. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to make two different cards today, or scenes, watercolor scenes today. The first one is going to be a snow scene with trees, pine trees in the foreground. And so we're going to actually paint the snow scene by reverse technique. So we're not going to paint the foreground at all. We're only going to paint the background or the sky. So the first thing you need to do is to roughly draw a line of trees across the front of your the bottom part of your card, and you can just kind of freehand what you can consider to be trees to look like. So and then something like that, approximately. So, I don't know, can you see that okay? Got kind of some little trees, some happy trees, if you will, if you're a Bob Ross fan. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with kind of a blue color background. So you'll take a little bit of your paint. You can kind of mix some blue. You can mix some purple. So you're just trying to get a couple of different options of blues and purples to use in your background. I always use like a thicker brush to start with to just get lots of water into the paint itself. Okay. All right, now you're going to want to use a slightly smaller brush to provide a little bit of detail. So I'm going to do this actually by turning my whole card upside down. And I'm going to take just water and I'm going to paint right below that line that I just drew. So kind of outline the trees, leaving the trees themselves just the color of the paper. And as you're outlining, you can kind of improvise a little bit. The nice thing about using pencil here is that if you need to erase, you can erase. So it started snowing here today in East Lansing. I don't know where you all are at, but did you get snow today?
I am also in East Lansing now. I was not excited to see the snow this morning. I was planning on going for my morning jog and it was too cold and too icy looking.
Yeah, I am an indoor runner this time of the year for sure. Yeah, the snow I feel like is late this year, but you know, it was pretty. It's nice that we don't have to deal with also going out into the snow. So I'm just kind of adding water to give this a little bit of background to start on. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but basically right below where my trees begin should have some water. So now I'm going to take the blue and add some color. So as we add the color, I need to draw back in. So depending upon how much your paint absorbs your water, you may have to add a little bit more. Essentially what you want to do is just get the blue to bleed and add some more water below. Add a little bit more kind of darker color.
I will say that it is much easier to use cardstock than printer paper. I'm using printer paper and it is bleeding through quite a bit onto the table.
So the lovely thing about watercolors, you can kind of be creative about how the colors go together. All right. So I think that's probably a good amount. Okay, so once you have this you can kind of see how that's going to show up upside down. All right, so for this first card, once you get your scene set up like that, we're going to take the salt, we're going to sprinkle it over top. And we're going to set this aside to dry. So what salt does on top of watercolor is it basically absorbs the color in places. So as it's drying, it should create like little splotchy snowflake looking. So it should look like a snowy scene, but we shall see. So we're going to set this one aside, let it dry a little bit.
Heather, you're going a little fast.
I'm going a little fast.
I'm
Okay.
No.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to actually start another one because I want to see if I do this in a little bit more direct way. So this one, I'm going to just
Do you all like doing stuff like this, crafts?
So I was an art major in college. So I kind of, I like kind of can't imagine not doing stuff like this, but I think it's definitely taken a backseat to other things. What about you?
I used to not like art that much because like it would never like turn out how I would want it to turn out. But now I find it like to be a really good like um relaxing like activity that I can do when I'm not like, something to like take me away from classes and work, and especially like with when there's nothing to do in a pandemic, like stuff like this really helps me.
Lexi, what about you?
I feel the same way. When I was younger, I would get very frustrated because things would never go my way. I am not very artistically inclined, so I'd get like very mad at myself, and it's like it's not that deep, it's just crafts.
Same.
So, yeah, I've learned to let go of that anger and need for perfection, and now I just kind of have fun with it.
I feel the same way. I often struggle with perfectionism, but I find that art has really helped me with that, especially when I am super stressed out. My favorite tagline for myself is no one needs to see this if it sucks. So it's just for me, so it doesn't matter.
I love that. I think that's the other part, is that like none of us are needing to use art to make a living. So it really should be something that is ultimately fun, right? And relaxing and not stressful.
Heather, why did you decide to be an art major? I didn't know you were an art major.
Yeah, so I grew up doing a bunch of different painting, and when I was in high school, I did actually watercolors was my kind of medium for a while. And then as I got into college, I decided I wanted to do graphic design. So that was the area that I specialized in. But I think that the thing for me is I realized that I really like people. I like being around people a lot more. And art, while a great profession, and I would never discourage anybody from going into art, but can be a pretty solitary life. So I decided that I was gonna, do other things. I actually ended up adding a business major. So I was an art major and a business major, which was really complicated because all the way down to like we were using Macs in my art classes, and we were using PCs in my business classes. I'm like, well, how many different worlds can you kind of live in, coexist in at once? So I don't know. I graduated with a double major and a minor in art history, and then I went right to grad school doing something totally different altogether. So, these are the types of choices that you end up making. So I don't know if your first one has dried a little bit, but mine kind of has. You can see, gives it this cool snowy scene. Does other people's look like that?
Mine does, but as I said, it's not fabulous, so it's for me. But for our folks that are doing this during our program, if you want to share with us what you've created, feel free to tag us on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. Our Instagram is, I think it's at Women's Student Services MSU. So it's a long one. but our Twitter is WSSMSU. But we would love to see what you've created if you're willing to share.
All right, I might have just messed up the other one. I added a big blob of black and blah. That's all right. Provide some interesting things to look at.
It's a new
What's that?
It's not a mess up. It's a new opportunity to try a different way.
Yes.
It's
I'm
okay.
gonna just put salt on that black and see what happens. Ooh, it's already starting to do the salt thing. All right, I'm gonna put these over here and let them dry. Now we're gonna do a snowflake, more up close snowflakes. So those were the far away snowflakes. Now we're gonna do the up close snowflakes. So take out another piece, brush the salt off of your workspace here. Okay, so this one we're gonna draw snowflakes by first drawing circles, and I'm gonna do the circles so I can kind of figure out where I want to position the snowflakes on my card. So I'm gonna do a small circle down here, and I'm not gonna draw very heavily. So hopefully you can kind of see that down there at the bottom. I'm gonna come with larger circle here. Just kind of have to eyeball, and then kind of a medium circle here. All right, so you should have three circles, small, medium, and large. Maybe one more small one, because, you know. Okay, so these are going to form the basis of our snowflakes. And as we love to say, every snowflake is unique. Everybody's snowflake is gonna look somewhat. Every snowflake is going to look somewhat different from its counterparts. But all snowflakes kind of have some symmetry to them, right? So in each of these cases, we're going to start with a X right through the middle. I'm going to do okay. This snowflake, we're going to do this one is just going to have all right. So you should have some starts here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use a straight edge, which in this case is going to be one of the other cards. I'm going to draw like lines to the top of the thing. So this is going to be here, here, and here. It kind of looks like they're hanging at the moment, but you'll see what I'm going to do here in a second. Okay, so now you're going to want to find a small brush, small, tiny brush. So let me see if I can, this one is probably about the smallest one that I've got. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to mix some blue, and we're going to do a first kind of pass. This is where you can kind of be creative if you want of like how you do this, but we're going to start kind of draw the lines. Gavin, we need some like snowflake music.
What does a snowflake sound like?
No, I don't know.
Mistletoe by Justin Bieber.
No, thank you.
You don't love
Don't
that?
be a hater.
It's sorry, not my cup of tea. I will listen to Mariah Carey's Christmas song on repeat though, all of December. While this is going on, I think I should highlight the other craft options for today for Total Tuesday Craft Day. There is a family-friendly craft night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It is a homemade tie-dye craft project. That sounds pretty interesting. And the supplies needed for that would be an onion, a t-shirt, and a rubber band. I am interested to see how that goes. There is also another homemade tie-dye, the exact same thing, just happening at 8:30 p.m. as well. But yeah, that's what's going on today. The rest of the week for Countdown to Closeout, there is Self-Care Wednesday, Thursday Trivia Night, and Friday Cooking Fun with Corporate Chef Jason. Ooh. And then Saturday, we have Sensational Saturday Dance Day.
Woo.
Oh, it's an interactive virtual dance party. Pretty fancy.
Finding,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm finding that I do not have the steady hands that I wish I had. Okay, everybody kind of making their way through. So the great part about watercolor is that technically it should dry pretty quick. So once you have your first layer dry, you can use other colors to give your just whatever like little additions you make. I'm going to add it to all the
So these snowflakes look a lot like an asterisk. Heather, do you want to talk about why we have an asterisk in Women's Student Services?
That was a nice.
They do look a lot like an asterisk, Gabby. I would be happy to talk about it, but if Shuksha or Lexi would like to start, either. So when the Office of Women's Student Services was created, I think one of the struggles any office serving an identity group faces is like, who do you serve? Who's included? Who's not included? And I think, Gabby, you and I were, as we were talking about that, we're like struggling with how do we make it apparent that our office is open for everybody? And also that we're defining the word women broadly to include all people who identify as women or all transgender, cisgender, non-binary folks. Even if you only define yourself as a woman on a Tuesday at 3:00, welcome in Women's Student Services. And part of that being that, all people are affected by gender-based oppression. So having a space where we can address that. And so defining women broadly, expansively, and inclusively was an initial and important part of our office. And so we decided to designate that by using the asterisks. Did I get the story right?
You did. good thing it only happened last year that our office was created.
I know. It'd be easy to forget, right? Okay, I'm doing the best that I can to make these look even, but I think they are leaving a little bit to be desired. But that's okay. Everybody is a unique snowflake.
Shiksha or Lexi, do one of you want to talk about some of the programs we offer in Women's Student Services?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. So since last year, we brought back the WILD Conference, which stands for Women's Initiative for Leadership Development. And that was a conference that was held annually up until 2014 when it was dissolved along with the Women's Resource Center. So then we brought it back last year and it went off really well. And then this year, it also went off really well. We had a lot of great speakers. We had the Governor Gretchen Whitmer. We had Senator Debbie Stabenow, U.S. Representative Alyssa Slotkin, and Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha. So the main goal of WILD is to basically just provide a space to empower women identified individuals, and just kind of come together as a community and make each other better, make us all rise to the occasion. And other than that, we also have FemFest happened this summer for the first time, which was the first event of its kind at MSU. And that was really fun to plan, actually, because I know I've never been a part of a FemFest of any kind. And to have to do it virtually on top of that was an interesting dynamic. But I think everybody who was involved worked really hard. It made it go off seamlessly. We had a spoken word and poetry session. We had a live virtual concert featuring local Lansing artists. We also had an art session, quite like the one you're enduring right now. And was it just those 3 events? Was there?
We also had our virtual lunch with Women's Student Services, but yeah.
Yeah, and then a part of that, we also had KEGEG, which is, oh goodness, let me think about it for a second.
The Coalition for Gender Equity Groups.
Yes. Okay, there we go. So yes, so we all got to meet other gender-based groups on campus, got to know each other. We also do Women's Herstory Month, which takes place in
March.
Yes, March. And that's where I can think off the top of my head. LunaFest?
Yep, that's part of Women's Herstory Month, but okay, we might bring that back this year. That would be fun. Shiksha, do you want to talk more about Women's Herstory Month?
Yeah, I'm hoping this year to do some awesome events for Women's Herstory Month in March. So I work in ASMSU where I get to work with a large diverse population, and what we're planning to do is collaborate with Women's Student Services and other women affinity groups on campus to maybe have like some awesome women speaker come to campus. So if you guys have any ideas on who that could be, feel free to email us. I'm also hoping to do, actually, right now we're in the brainstorming phase, so it could really be anything. So if anyone's super passionate about this or has a lot of interest about this, you're more than willing to join the group with ASMSU and Women's Student Services. What would you guys like to see happen on campus? I know we recently had John Mulaney come, and that was pretty awesome. What are some like awesome speakers?
Might I suggest Michelle Obama?
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. So much cheaper.
We're gonna aim high. We're aiming high.
Can
you imagine if Michelle Obama could come and speak?
I would love for that to happen. So I'm into it. You know, if we play our cards right, maybe our vice president elect could make an appearance.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
a wish of dreams, but honestly, that's what we would love to see in a group for Women's History Month. Just some planning, and maybe we can get some things done. We didn't know we were going to get the governor this year for Wild, and we did. So
Yeah. Maybe while 2021 we could have AOC or Vice President Harris.
Yep.
So many great ideas. This is a thing that I remember though, when I was in college, is going to see great speakers on campus. And I feel like that should be part of the tradition, you know, is being able to make people who you only see in the news more accessible. So
Heather and I saw Madeleine Albright speak. Was that this year or last year?
good. I know that was last October.
Was it? I can't remember. It was before the pandemic, obviously, but that was a huge bucket list check off for me. That was a crazy moment for me.
It was
Even like
amazing.
the recorded videos that we had for the Wild Conference, like they were so inspiring. I remember like just like watching them, even if it's like on our laptop, but like the fact that they were addressing us like personally, I don't know, it hit different.
I was gonna say, like, there is literally nothing more inspiring to me than just women who are able to overcome an inherently oppressive society and just like surpass all limitations and just like own their own power and just be themselves. I just think it's so great, and like it's very empowering. And yeah, especially like watching our speakers, even virtually, I was crying. I was like, I can literally do anything, because we always have it in our mind, like, oh, that couldn't be us, like blah blah. But like it can be, you know. So
I'll be honest, I did not know really much about Debbie Stabenow before. And her talk was like probably my favorite. I mean, all of them were amazing, but I have to say, I really like, I got all choked up. It was so great.
I could be totally butchering this, but she said something about how like if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. And I've never heard that before, but like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, another thing that she said that hit home, she said she was a 24-year-old grad student at MSU, and she was making moves to change the world. She was running for office, and I'm like, I am a 24-year-old graduate student at MSU. What can I be saying in however many years that I did that was going to help change the world? So very inspiring. If you as a viewer are interested in seeing those videos, you can find them on our website under the Wild Keynote stuff. Lexi, you
We're almost
started.
out of time.
Oh, we are.
We are almost out of time.
I want to give Lexi a chance to plug Women's Council first.
Yes.
yeah, so this year I'm the vice president of Women's Council, which is it's a part of the Cores and Cops, which is a council of progressive students and also the council of racial and ethnic students. And we're on the progressive student side. And Women's Council was founded in like 1980s, they said. And basically our mission is to create a platform, a space for women students to come together, speak about gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity issues, or just social justice issues. And we basically want to implement a lot of more progressive policy in order to make MSU a safer and more inclusive campus for women students, including transgender students, cisgender, non-binary, everybody. And yeah, that's us.
Thank you.
All right. We've got a couple of minutes left to do a quick show and tell. I think the salt worked pretty well. I'm going to unpin, remove my spotlight. Everybody can share.
Heather, is your recording screen on gallery view now?
It's on gallery now. Should I keep it on spotlight
No.
or
I-
speaker? Oh,
Nope.
speaker. There we go.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go because I didn't paint mine. I used markers. So that's another thing that you guys can use at home. And I did the trees thing and I did colors, orange and red, and I wrote stay warm on the bottom. It could be a cute little Christmas gift for someone too.
Very pretty, Shiksha. I won't show you my Christmas tree when it got a little messed up, but here are my snowflakes.
Oh, they look good.
Thank you.
I love it.
Funny story. So I didn't realize that it was one or the other. I thought that the snowflakes were somehow being incorporated on the Christmas trees. So I forgot to finish painting my Christmas trees, but this is like my background, I guess. Just envision what
Salt looks
trees-
cool.
Thanks. And then these were my snowflakes. I didn't really get very far, but
Those look awesome. Well, I hope everybody has enjoyed our craft activity today. Just take some time for yourself as you can to just be as much as possible kind of here, and provide some time and space between all the different activities that you have so that you can just let yourself kind of relax during this crazy busy time. So thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.